all heard the question 1,000 times before. Are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? This has been a heated issue that has divided our nation for decades, and it remains one of the most controversial topics in our history, and for good reason. Both arguments have very strong, opinionated sides. But don't worry, fortunately, I'm not going to address either argument. I'm going to address the newest argument pertaining to this topic. Is the pill Plan B considered the abortion pill? Acknowledged in April 2006 as over-the-counter and legalized in all pharmacies, Plan B is just now beginning to start an uproar. I'm going to explain to you what Plan B is, why it is not the abortion pill, and why this topic gets so controversial. So, what is Plan B? Plan B is an emergency contraceptive that is considered to be used as a backup plan only when primary contraceptive fails. It stops a possibly fertilized egg from attaching to the womb, therefore preventing it from getting shelter and nutrition that sustain life. This does not qualify as an abortion, however, because it absolutely does not terminate an existing pregnancy, just prevents one from occurring. Approximately 7 out of 8 women who would have gotten pregnant will not become pregnant after taking the Plan B pill. So the main issue arises. Are we killing premature babies, or are we responsibly preventing a pregnancy from occurring? The evidence will show that Plan B prevents rather than terminates an existing pregnancy. Because Plan B is construed as the abortion pill, I'm going to tell you what Plan B is and what it isn't, what it does and what it doesn't do, so that we can fully understand this misconception. So whether you are pro-choice or you are pro-life, both sides can be in full support of the Plan B pill. Much of the controversy surrounding the pill comes from unclear definitions of the term abortion. Abortion is medically defined as the termination of pregnancy by the removal or expulsion of an embryo or fetus from the uterus, resulting in death of the baby. According to International Planned Parenthood Federation and World Health Organization, Plan B is ineffective if you're already pregnant, and it does not terminate an existing pregnancy. Plan B consists of the hormones estrogen and progesterone in higher doses, which are the same ones found in regular birth control, while the actual abortion pill contains a chemical known as RU486, which will terminate an existing pregnancy. Cognitively, we believe that Plan B is unethical because it's unique to all other contraceptive devices. Condoms and birth control take place before the matter, while Plan B takes place the next morning, while it's often referred to as the morning after pill. Just because it's after sex does not mean that it's after pregnancy. Plan B works just the same way as a regular contraceptive device. For example, let's take the case of Evelyn, as seen on 60 Minutes. She's 22 years old, living in New York City, and she goes to a nightclub. She's right there, and she's immediately rushed to the hospital. She pleads for emergency contraceptive, but the doctor strongly advised her not to take it, due to moral and ethical reasons. After hours of pleading, she finally receives it and does not become pregnant. However, later she tells reporters that had she have become pregnant, she, and quote, would have had an abortion, and that she's glad she didn't have to deal with the emotional and physical side effects that that process would cause. By banning and going against Plan B, we're encouraging these women who have no second options to resort to abortion or other unsafe procedures. The opposing argument and other opponents of Plan B make is that once a sperm and egg meet, a baby is conceived, and therefore taking the Plan B pill after conception is ultimately aborting the baby. Why this is not true, however, is it is medically defined as the start of pregnancy is 6 or 7 days after conception, when the blastocyte implants itself on the wall of the uterus. Now, before it's a blastocyte, it's known as a zygote, and a zygote contains only about 16 cells. The discarding of this 16 cells is not terminating a baby, because the baby does not even exist yet. Still, some argue that this prevents implantation, which ultimately prevents a human life from forming. For example, my dad, Dr. Kim Curl, he's a registered pharmacist, and he refuses to sell Plan B in his pharmacy due to his moral and ethical reasons, even with all the evidence presented. Plan B is moral, and it's ethical, and it's safe to use. And it does not harm the woman, it doesn't harm the baby, or the course of the pregnancy if she's already pregnant. So it all comes down to one thing: how you define pregnancy and how you define abortion. Science tells us one thing, but our values tell us another. Abortifacients are actions, procedures, or medications to take to terminate an existing baby, while contraceptives are practices, devices, or medications you can take to prevent a pregnancy from occurring. Plan B is ethical, and it's a regular contraceptive. If used in that 5-day window, the baby does not exist yet, so therefore it's not terminating an existing baby. Plan B is the same thing as using a normal contraceptive device, and it's just another means of being responsible with your body. Our generation will continue to argue the pro-life, pro-choice debate, but Plan B does not need to be a part of this debate. Whether you are pro-life or pro-choice, both sides can be in full support of the Plan B pill. With all the evidence presented, how could you be against it? Plan B is not the abortion pill, and it's moral, ethical, and safe to use. It's reassuring to know that when Plan A fails, there will always be a Plan B.